Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 19th of June. Okay, so looking at the euro dollar first, and Friday ended up on a positive day, which not triggering the bearish pivot swing we got there. So in fact, just really triggering a bit of chop. As I'm recording this, we're up to the weekly pivot. We just hit the weekly pivot, just a slight retracement from that, and we have got the daily pivot below us. So there is a bit of a chance that this morning we may just come back and give that a test. I mean, we've tested the 21s here, we've tested the weekly pivot. There is a, as I said, see how it moves, price action moves this morning. It may come back towards that daily pivot, maybe through the daily pivot. We saw this on Friday, it pushed on through, pulled back. On the bigger picture, it's difficult to really suggest where this market's really going. We had a new high last week put in and a new low put in, so it's really from a bit at the bigger picture made it quite difficult, and it just suggests it's in a sideward chop at the moment. So as I said, say short term, but at some point there's a reasonable probability we can come back and catch this daily pivot, maybe push on further. Okay, it's euro, the pound. Big picture first. Well, similar chop really. A lot of chop there. Weekly picture from really doesn't tell us too much, although slightly bullish. Harami maybe same sort of levels, but it's, as I said, not giving us a lot of a clue from that time frame. 4 alley, well, that again just shows us that last week's. I mean, we didn't quite make a new low last week, and we certainly didn't make anywhere near a new high. So, range-bound week. At the moment, we've got the potential. We've already hit the daily pivot, but we've got the weekly pivot below us. So again, if we start seeing a sell-off of these European pairs, we could be heading south towards that sort of zone. And maybe a bit more. It's already hit the daily pivot. It's such a tight range on Friday. The pivots are very, very pinched on a daily basis, making them a little bit less, well, sound effectively. It's a risk that things could easily overrun any of those if we get any decent moves. Dollar yen, well, it did put in a new low last week, and it's been pushing up again since, and it's still got an untouched monthly pivot sitting above us. And at the moment, with the higher lows that we've seen in here, it looks like, well, there's the chance for it to push on up. Has got an untouched weekly pivot below. We are on the daily pivot at the moment. It really depends on how we start moving this morning. The weekly pivot could be hit all week, really. We between the monthly and the weekly, and they both have a good probability of being hit. Well, we just have to see. I mean, a break, if we start seeing the euro and the pound pushing up, or pushing down rather, we could see the yen pushing up and vice versa, of course. So it may give us a sort of idea, but it hasn't always gone in the same direction of late. But at this stage, well, it's certainly not a clear move, but possibly with this sort of surge up that we saw towards the end of last week, we've got more chance of pushing to the upside towards that weekly. Okay, Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar probably is one of the stronger currencies against the US dollar of late, having pushed up quite a long way over the last couple of weeks. Last week it made some more ground to the upside. At this moment, well, it did put a new high in midweek, didn't get up there towards the end of the week there, and it's sort of rolling back towards the weekly pivot at the moment, which may be a reasonable target for it. Daily pivots below as well, not quite caught that yet, but looks like it may just roll over with a lower high that's put in there, and it's a confirmed lower high. It's closed below that previous low, so at the moment looking a bit iffy, and it has the potential to roll over some more. That said, if the European pairs start rallying, well, it may take the Aussie to the upside with it. Finally, Canadian dollar. Actually, let's just check on the price of oil before I get too carried away. Okay, stuck at $44 roundabouts. So Canadian dollar there, last week did put in that new low. I'm still wondering whether we'll see a push back up here. It seems somewhat overdone with the, I mean, it's more on the Canadian fundamental data, which is mixed at best. Yet, and low oil prices, we'd have expected this to be pushing up quite strong, but it's doing anything but at the moment. But, but being the operative word, it has got its weekly pivot above us, untouched. Still got a monthly untouched as well there. So we could see this round out and get above the daily, the weeklies above as well. So we could see a push, and this would be one of my favourites really, looking at this in terms of the potential. Okay, news-wise today, not a lot. I mean, the whole of this week has got very little news. It's the midweek week, which tends to have smaller or less of a move. Um, Today we got very little data out. We've already had the uh, Reserve Bank of Australia's Governor Lowe speaking. Today we got FOMC Dudley speaking at 1 p.m. So there's there's a bit of potential movement later this afternoon, and then we've got the German Bupa president Wiedmann speaking at 4 p.m. Often moves the markets quite a bit when Wiedmann speaks, so would be wary of that 1 and 4 o'clock for volatility at least. That's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.